Good afternoon, and welcome to the Gator Wesley Bio. Today on the show, we have Roy Hornsby. Thank you for coming on the show.
Hey, JC, thank you for having me today. As you said, I'm Roy Hornsby, and I am going into my junior year here at the University of Florida with a telecommunications major. And I'm 20 years old, and I'm excited to be here.
Well, thank you. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead, as you just mentioned, dwell into a little bit. Where are you from? Where did you grow up?
Okay, my origin story is slightly boring, but I was born in Pensacola, Florida, which is in the panhandle of Florida. It is about 3 hours west of Tallahassee. I was born there, and then I've been there my entire life, and I've lived in the same house my whole life, and that's pretty much it. My mom is from Pensacola. My dad is from Miami, and they met in Pensacola, and that's where I was born.
Sounds very nice. Would you mind dwelling into about Pensacola, living in Pensacola? How was it like?
Okay, well, my early origins have always been musically and theatrically derived, I suppose, because I've always been, I went to First Baptist Church, Pensacola, Florida, and I was a Baptist. And I started singing there from around age 4, and I stayed there all throughout high school. And in my high school choir, we got to tour all over the world, really. It was a very big choir, and we were very musically learned, I suppose you could say, because we went to California, New York, Europe, and so a lot of that musical stuff has come from church. And I was in the Pensacola Children's Chorus, which is a show choir. I was in that for about 10 years, and then I was in the Boy Scouts, and then so I was pretty busy my whole childhood and early adulthood in Pensacola, and it was a lot of fun. For sure.
It sounds like you've had a good worldwide experience with musical background.
Yeah, definitely. That's music has always been a really, really important thing and really cool thing for me, for sure.
So let's jump back a little bit. Describe your childhood experiences and your parents as well, if you can dwell on that a little bit.
Okay. Well, my parents were both Baptist. My mom was actually an Episcopalian, I believe. And my dad was a Baptist. They met and they married, and then my mom went to his Baptist church, his First Baptist Church. And just kind of straight from the beginning, I was always, Sunday school, little toddler preschool choir, whatever they had there. Then I moved from that, and the Boy Scouts troop that I was in was founded in the church. It was 80 years old, and it had always been in First Baptist Church, and so I got involved in that. And then just kind of being always interested in music, and started getting into dancing a little bit and acting and stuff, and that went to Pensacola Children's Chorus, and then I went into theater at my high school for 4 years, and so just one thing led into another. And funny thing is, I never stopped anything, so kind of just everything kept on piling on and piling on and piling on until senior year. I moved to Gainesville and went to the University of Florida.
Well, it sounds like a very nice little story about your hometown.
Yeah, it was
a lot
well-rounded.
A lot of you probably know this, but you have an older brother named Travis Hornsby.
I
correct?
do. Yes, he's a good guy.
Can you dwell on that a little bit?
Yes, I definitely can. My brother Travis has always kind of paved the path to success for me, pretty much. Not that I'm successful, but I'm trying. But he chose which middle school to go to, and I followed him. Chose which high school to go to, and I followed him. He was in children's chorus. I was in children's chorus. Boy Scouts, and then he went to the University of Florida, and I applied, and I got in, and I came down to visit that weekend that I came down to visit. It was actually, ironically, because we're doing the Gator Wesley bios, that was the opening weekend of Gator Wesley. That was the first Sunday they ever had in this new building, and that day, I met so many cool people. I stayed with Travis at his old apartment that he used to live in, and I met some really awesome people like Jorge Ararujo and Claus Westring, some guys that I would live with the very next year, or the year after that. But Travis, he's always been there, always been helping me out, always been helping me make decisions. We're very, very different academically and then creatively and just how we think and stuff, but at the root of it, we're very, very like-minded in at least the way that we think and that we make decisions. Yeah, and I've always just respected him for things that he's done, things that he's helped me, and he's always had the best intentions. So I've always had the utmost respect for him because he's always been a major part of my life, for sure.
And it's very nice. Family is a good bond.
Oh, yeah. It is. That's the firmest foundation is just family.
So you did mention that your brother did pave the way for you and a lot of what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
So Other than that, what made you choose UF specifically, compared to all the different universities and colleges in Florida?
Well, to be honest, it was fairly easy because I only applied to University of Florida and then FSU. I could have applied to a lot of other places too because I was in the International Baccalaureate program, and everybody else was like applying to Emory, Rhodes College, all of these other really luxurious out-of-state colleges. My one of my best friends, he goes to Vanderbilt, and everybody's going to all these other places, and I'm just trying to consider, what I wanted to do, and at the time I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, and I knew that the University of Florida was just a very well-rounded, it was very fun, it was very big, and I thought that would just be like a fun place to go, and so I applied to FSU and UF, and I got into both of them. And then because Travis went to UF, I decided to go here as well. But that was actually after, I came down and visited here at Gator Wesley. And that was really what sold it. It's just coming down here to visit Gator Wesley. And I just met the nicest, most fun people, and like people that I just mentally connected with right away. And then, I don't know, that's just what sold it. I was like, this is just a great atmosphere. And they have a pretty good academic program also. So I was like, why not, right?
And UF is on the hierarchy of higher education, and they are very well known throughout the country as being one of the top universities in the country.
Yeah.
And you said that you went to the Gator Wesley Foundation. And that kind of what drew you to UF, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So you decided to go to the University of Florida, correct?
Right.
At University of Florida, what did you decide to do, and with that, what do you plan on doing with it?
Well, when I first came into University of Florida, right off the bat, I was, for some reason, convinced that I should be an environmental engineer because I kind of wanted to impress my family and be an engineer. And then I thought everything else was too smart for me. And I thought that environmental would probably be the easiest engineering I could probably do. So I was like, yeah, I'm an environmental engineer. What are you going to do about it, And then I came here, and I have been but I've been fiddling around with videos and media software for ever since I was probably like 13 or 14 years old. I made all these, most of them not that quality YouTube videos. I have almost like 200 of them now.
Right, a lot of people do know your YouTube video, your boy the Roy.
Yeah, and that's what it is. I mean, that's just more for practice, just kind of trying to build up this portfolio for myself almost, just kind of, because, everything that I do, I kind of try to take confidence in that it's just practice, and that it's because what I want to do in the end, or not in the end, something I want to build up to, obviously. It sounds kind of crazy saying it out loud, but I want to work on film. I want to go to Hollywood, and I want to make blockbuster movies. That sounds kind of far-fetched and kind of
not at all.
dreamlandish.
If that's what you want to do, then go ahead and do that.
Yeah,
UF is a very good school for that.
Yeah, and that's I'm in the telecommunication production program of that, which is the closest you can get to any kind of a film major, and I made that kind of transition from environmental engineer to telecommunication because I really just actually sat down and thought about it, that what is it that I want to do? What do I want to do for myself and for other people? Environmental engineer, if I was trying to impress anybody by being something that I don't want to be, then I'm not doing myself any favors, and I had always loved movies and appreciated any type of film, anything like that. I soak up, and I want to learn so much about it, and ever since I've been small, watching a movie, I've always appreciated how, just for 2 hours, that can just take you out of reality, that's something you can focus on, that is your reality for that point, and I've always been really interested in just how that works, and I've always known that, hey, somebody has to do this, and I could be one of those somebodies.
Right, and that's understandable, and what you're going for as well will help in that as well. And
exactly.
Also, as a lot of our viewers know, you have a web series.
Yes.
Jorge and Roy. Can you dwell on that a little bit? How did you come up with that idea?
Honestly, it was I'm not going to say it was plagiarized, but it's some of its material has been absorbed creatively from various other things I've just watched online. It's been something that I thought it would be a really kind of cool, fun thing to do, and kind of giving something that, I don't know who watches it, but, if anybody does watch it, it's something that can actually be entertaining, and being able to entertain someone, I feel, is like the coolest compliment.
Right, and that's the main point of all media, is to entertain somebody in some aspect.
Exactly, and it's like I wasn't, I didn't make it because I was like, this is something I have to do, and it's the most important thing, it was like, and I set a goal for it. I wanted to try to release 2 episodes per week, and that was to keep myself kind of driven on the fact. It was a constant reminder that this is what you want to do, and it was constant editing practice. It was constant directing practice in terms of just getting it done. And I got to work with Adobe After Effects and Photoshop, and it's really just getting me moving.
Right.
So it's less completely about the content. It's really fun to make. That's what kind of kept it going, is that it's very fun to make. But then just the root, the drive for it is just that it's a lot of practice.
Right. It has given you an understanding of, if I can sum it up a little bit, some of what you just said. It does give you an understanding of how the industry works. You're working you're more of an interactive person.
Mm-hmm.
You're interacting with said materials and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it has worked out very well for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm learning a lot just by doing it, and I'm constantly looking up, different things I can do and work on. It's a lot of fun. It really is.
Now, you did mention earlier on that Gator Wesley was your main draw to go to the University of Florida, correct?
Yes. Sorry, but to delineate from that, that was I used my major at Gator Wesley because I've been making some videos for Gator Wesley for a while, to sponsor events that they would have. I've made a few ones for dodgeball tournaments or for Gator Wesley tour. Things like that. And again, that's just for practice, and it's a really cool thing. And I've gotten involved like that. And I told you before that I love music.
True.
And then that's what got me involved in the Gator Wesley praise band. And I've also been in Gator Wesley Maranatha.
Right.
And I got here. Travis introduced me to all these people, had the atmosphere, and I stuck, and I was like, this is where I'm going to be able to grow creatively.
It just clicked for you.
Exactly. Like, never before had I been able to, play guitar, get up in front of people, and actually make videos for people to actually watch. I've just kind of done them as like a thing for myself almost to look at later, but I've finally been able to get up on stage and play and actually make a difference in other people, their spiritual worship time. I've helped make that for them or assist them in getting there, and that's been, people have come up to me and said, how special it's meant to them, like to kind of, go along with them on that worship process, and
spiritual journey.
Yeah, that's meant a lot to me, just helping people kind of reach that, emotional, spiritual level, and that's just been really cool.
Right, and we are very glad to have you in all the areas that you have worked in, and in that areas as well. You do provide a lot of the media stuff do at Gator Wesley as well.
Right.
So we're getting to the end of our show, and I would like to personally thank you for coming on the show today.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's been fun.
And for our last few minutes, would you like to say a couple things about yourself that a lot of people may not know, or you think they would know or should know about you?
I'm generally pretty open. If people want to know anything, and I guess if I could just point out anything about my personality, it's just that I'm pretty driven, I guess, and I'm very excited to be doing what I'm doing and to be where I am, and that's taken a lot of convincing myself, because you're always going to have your critics and people telling you, you can't do stuff, or it's going to be really hard to do stuff, but then if you can convince yourself that you can and you can go after it. For me, just in my personal field of choice, that what I want to do, that's just taken a lot, and so I'd consider myself driven and ambitious like that, and I'm gonna keep going as hard as I can, because that's the only way we'll get success, is if we don't stop when people tell you to stop.
Right, and that's understandable. And we want to thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much.
And this has been the Gator Wesley Bio, produced by James Jordan, and produced on location at the Gator Wesley Foundation, which is a campus community of the United Methodist Church that services Santa Fe College and the University of Florida. Thank you for tuning in today, and look next time. We have more people, more stories, and more Gator Wesley Bio. Thank you very much, and